want to share with you this morning is a little bit different than normal. Now, first, uh, I have 20-something copies of Irene's music in the window on the right-hand side back there. So every family take one. If you have someone else that wants one, write on the list. I got the tablet back there. Just write it down. I'm still making these CDs because so many people have requested them. I've got people writing me letters now requesting a copy of her songs. So I'm going to be doing that for a while. But every family here, take one. If you don't get one, if they run out before you get out of here today, just write your name down on a list. And if you want one or two for somebody else that may have asked you to get one, I will have those. I have been asked if I would put the video of her funeral on our church website. And I chose not to do that. But what I am going to do is go ahead and make DVDs of it and send it to those families that did ask for that couldn't be here for the funeral. We got many people in Florida that wanted it. So if some of you by chance wanted one of those DVDs, let me know that too, and I will be more than happy to give it to you. What I have learned in the middle of all this for me, so I want to tell you, I've learned that when someone that close to you passes, it is the most devastating thing that will ever take place in your life. Words from your pastor will be very empty trying to make you feel better about it. I have had pastors come to me and try to make me feel better about it, and I told them those words are very empty when the heart has such a hole in it. Nothing can make it feel better. But I learned one thing that does. And that is being able to hear my wife's voice in her songs on that CD she made. So I want to suggest to you, every one of you, you don't have to tell your spouse. The reason I'm telling you this, 3 years ago when my wife realized that she did not have long to live, she wrote me a letter. She wrote a 3 or 4 page letter to me, and she hid it in one of my drawers at the house where I keep my T-shirts. She put it on the very bottom because she knew I never did go through all the T-shirts as long as she kept them washed. But she knew that when she was gone, I might run out and find the letter. But I found the letter, and I read the letter she had wrote to me that I was supposed to get after she passed on. And I know we would all like to do something that for our families. Some of you have not even thought about it. The reason I'm bringing it up to you, a young lady told me the other day at the hospital, she said, "How did you know that your wife's sugar was so low?" And I said, "I've been married to her 47 years. I've been taking care of her for 7 years. And I knew, I could tell that was beginning to happen." And she told me, she says, "Well, Pastor Copeland, my fiance are fixing to get married now. But there's no way that we're going," because she was up in age a little bit. She said that we've never been married before, and there's no way we will ever celebrate 47 years. And I said, it doesn't matter how many years you have. It's how you live the years. So, folks, I want to tell you today, your family members, it's how you live today. It's how you live today that's going to make a greater impact on them after you're gone. But what will make a greater impact on them even then is if you will just go by yourself somewhere, even if it's here at this church, you write a letter to your loved one and you record it in audio. And you put that in your will or in your file or in your safe somewhere in your home so that when you're gone, they can hear your voice once again telling them how much you love them. They will listen to it over and over and over again. We can only leave behind the memories of our life. But whenever we do leave those family members that you've had left behind, how many of you here today wish you could hear their voice again? Just to hear their voice. I know every one of you. If I could hear my grandmother's voice one more time, If I could just hear her say to her husband, she called Grandpa Marty, if I could hear her say, Marty, get these boys one more time out of my kitchen, I would love to be able to hear that. So I would just encourage you, take a moment to do that. Even if you're 20 years old, young people, no matter what age you are, we have technology today to do that. And the love we have for one another, God gave us such a tremendous love we can have for one another. And we should live every day to encourage our loved ones to know that. But when we're gone, there will be no more encouragement except for the memories we have. So I would suggest to you to go do that recording. My wife's dream for the last 2 years of her life, was to record her music for the people she loved. And we worked on it, and finally, in the last 3 months, we were able to actually make that recording. She was so thrilled to be able to leave her voice behind for everybody. I had no idea in trying to get that done of what she was doing for me, because I needed her voice more than anybody else. And she left me that to hold on to. Let's hold on to everything we have, because God has blessed you with a wonderful, wonderful family and a wonderful church family and wonderful people around you to love you. And they don't want to lose you. One day we're all going to have to go. And one day our voices won't be in that house anymore. But I can turn mine on and walk through my house, and it's like she's there again. And it is a joy and it is a blessing. So take that home with you. Think about it, folks, and do that for those that you love. And let them know. Tell them all those things that my wife tried to tell me in a letter, because she ended up telling me with those songs she left behind. And I am truly grateful to God that we were able to have that. I'm grateful to God to have every one of you. And I've told Ed what we're going to do now. Everybody that comes up here on this stage, we're going to get a recording of you. We're going to start taping every one of them. So if you come up here, whether it's a group church singing or whatever, you're going to be on audio and video, and we're going to try to save a bunch of those to put in the archives of this church, because I just feel like it is so very important that we do that. So many people have passed through this church that we don't see again, but somebody one day might want to look back and see that. So we're going to do that. We're going to love one another, and we're going to let each other know we love one another. Don't let a Sunday go. We're going to take time right now. You're going to hug everybody's neck in this church right now. You're going to tell them you love them. And we're going to make sure that if you're not here tomorrow, by George, you know today we love you. Amen? Amen. And we're going to do that. So while the piano player plays a song, and we'll hug her neck in a minute, but while she's doing that, get up and tell everybody you love them and get a hug this morning. God bless you, everyone.